Palestinians also believe that the land of Palestine is all encompassing of Israel. So when you talk about occupation,
it was
Hamas, and Hamas is talking about what happened during the second.
Protests,
and it doesn't matter. They go in and they murder people. So you're talking about going in and murdering people. That's what it's actually talking about. That is the answer. No. It's not contextualizing. It's what legitimately happened as part of history. They went in and they murdered people. That's a fact. They went in and they murdered people. That's a fact.
And so Israel has murdered way more Palestinians.
All right, we're moving off the topic.
You can take your Intifada and you can go to Palestine and go kill your own people.
Immigration is a very hot topic right now. Check out this clip over here where debate happens on Piers Morgan. We'll watch together and then we'll talk about it. But first, hit that subscribe button over there in the corner. We'd love to stay in touch. Check this out.
The people inside of Afghanistan, 100%, are the Taliban. In 2012, when I was over there, it was very rare to see a Taliban flag flying across the villages. In 2016, 17, and 18, when I was over there, they were everywhere. Piers, my very last operation, driving off of a target back to the base, there's Taliban flags just flying all throughout these villages. They have cemeteries with Taliban flags planted, everything. You had police officers, military, everybody that was like affiliated with the Taliban in one way, shape, or form. We couldn't even get workers to come onto camp with proper vetting because they also had affiliations with ISIS and the Taliban. It's not a joke. This needs to get looked at. And absolutely, the people that served side by side with U.S. veterans over there have every right, in my opinion, and most veterans' opinions, to be in this country because they have done more for this country than most Americans. But to sit here and try to claim that we're going after Muslims or that we're going after anybody else is a lie. Those same Muslims that myself and my brothers invited into this country and signed our name to would stand side by side and vouch for the exact same things that I'm saying. That there is evil in that country and that it is involved within the civilian population, and trying to claim otherwise is a freaking lie. And it's doing absolutely nobody any good. And those types of lies are what gets people killed inside of the United States of America.
Well, it seems like the U.S. made the problem worse because in your own statement, you said when you first started going into there, you didn't see the Taliban flags. And then by the time, decades later, it's worse. And it's the destabilization, the power vacuum.
Let's talk it. No, it's not destabilization in a power vacuum. There's a power vacuum and destabilization that existed before we went there. That's just a fact. All right. The Taliban ran the country. We ended up putting in a government. And the United States government has absolutely zero business, as far as I'm concerned, or most veterans are concerned, going in and trying to conduct a regime change in any type of country. We suck when it comes to nation building. Our record's horrible. Even if we look at Iraq and we talk about what's going on over inside of Iraq and them trying to pass laws for 9-year-old girls to be able to get married to grown men. All right. That's not exactly what I would call a huge victory for democracy. All right. But over inside of Afghanistan, the moment we pull out, we have 6-year-old girls getting married off to grown men. 10% of the girls inside of Afghanistan under the age of 15 end up getting married off. And I think it's an absurd number. It's like 60% or something like that end up getting married off before they're even 18. And this is their family selling them off to older grown men. And don't even get me started on Chai boys.
No, I think one thing that, people haven't focused on enough is the fact that the violence begets violence, that the violence that the U.S. Imperialists, take on abroad will come back to the U.S., whether it's through immigrants or people, whose families go back generations in the U.S. Look at the attempted, Trump, the person who attempted to assassinate Donald Trump. Look at the person who assassinated Charlie Kirk. These aren't migrants. These are people, who've lived here. So the U.S. continuously being involved in violence abroad has only made this situation worse. And there isn't these types of mass shootings happening all around the world. This is something that we see exclusively happening in the U.S. And instead of that being addressed, mental health being addressed, pulling out of wars across the world, we have ICE raids that are basically just a show of force, wreaking havoc on cities like New York City. An ICE raid was thwarted here just a couple of days ago from protesters. And then Palestinian activists like Mohsen Mahdawi, like Mahmoud Khalil, being targeted. So at the end of the day, this isn't about
Nadine,
vetting.
do you think that undocumented immigrants in America who commit crimes unconnected to their immigrant status should be deported?
I mean, that's not what's been happening, though. They've been going after people.
I know. I have the same concerns about those who have not committed other crimes. But do you think specifically that if they're undocumented and they commit another crime, they should be deported?
I think at the end of the day, these things should, play out.
It's either yes or no, isn't it? I mean, I just think there is universal agreement pretty much that were
I mean,
not
sure,
universal.
but people are being accused of crimes that they didn't commit. You know,
But if they're
Mahmoud
convicted
Khalil
of
was
a crime,
accused of a thought crime.
if they're convicted of a crime, if they're convicted
He
of a
was
crime,
accused of a thought crime. So I'm not going to say that
if
somebody
they're convicted
like
of a
Mahmoud
crime,
Khalil should be deported.
right? Okay, but
Well,
that's a
first
problem.
of all, if you're in the United States on a visa screaming globalize the Intifada, your ass needs deported, period, end of discussion.
Exactly. This
Would
is
you like to
why. This
explain
is
what
why
the
we
first and
can't have
second
this
Intifadas are?
conversation.
Would you like to
Because they want to say globalize the Intifada is a crime, and that's a
explain
deportable
what the
offense.
first and second Intifada
This is why
were.
your
Go ahead,
question
explain
is
what
a
the first and
straw man.
second Intifada were. Go ahead, explain the first and second Intifada, and then we'll discuss
Intifada
why they
means
shouldn't live here in the United
uprising.
States.
Intifada means
I don't
shaking
care
off
what
of
it
oppression.
means. Explain
And a
what it
Holocaust
actually
museum
means.
actually used
Explain what it
Intifada
actually means.
to
Explain what it actually
translate
means.
the Warsaw
Okay, you
Ghetto
want to avoid the
Uprising in
question, I'll say
Arabic.
it for you. It's twice when
Okay, I speak
Palestinians
Arabic. I
decided
don't
that
know
they
if you
would go
speak
into
Arabic.
Israel.
Intifada
And I
means
speak Russian. What's your point?
shaking off of
Okay,
oppression.
and I don't care what it means. It's also what it means
just
in
asked me what
context,
it
right? So when a
means.
Palestinian calls and claims globalize the Intifada, they don't mean globalize the resistance. They mean go after the oppressors and start killing people. Palestinians also believe that the land of Palestine is all encompassing of Israel. So when you talk about occupation,
it was
and
women's
Hamas,
groups,
and
it was
Hamas
student
is talking
groups
about what happened during the
organizing
second.
protests,
And it doesn't matter.
organizing
They go in and they
strikes.
murder
That's what it
people.
was.
So you're talking about
So
going
you
in and
don't want the
murdering people.
answer. You
That's
just
what
want to
it's actually
contextualize
talking
it the
about.
way
That
you
is
want
the
to.
answer. No. It's not contextualizing. It's what legitimately happened as part of
You
history.
just
They went in and
brought
they
up
murdered
context.
people. That's a fact. They went in and they murdered people.
Okay.
That's a fact.
And
so when you're
Israel has
screaming globalize
murdered
the
way more
Intifada,
All right,
you're in the
Palestinians.
United
we're
States
moving
of
off the
America. You can
topic.
take your Intifada and you
All
can
right.
go to Palestine
Let's
and you can
not
go kill
move.
your own people.
This clip over here seems to be a battle between fantasy and reality. What it seemed was that Mirdir Kaswani blamed America for everything. The shooting, the terrorism, even the National Guard being present in DC. According to her, everything is the fault of American imperialism. Nothing is the attacker's fault. Nothing is the broken border's fault. Nothing is the vetting system's fault. But then Matt Tardillo, an actual U.S. Special Forces soldier, he comes in and brings us back to reality. He explains that during the Afghanistan withdrawal, vetting collapsed. People came in with photocopied documents. Soldiers were told to wave paperwork through. Terror-linked individuals slipped in. This shooting that happened in D.C. wasn't random. It wasn't unpredictable. It was the direct result of chaotic immigration and zero accountability. Here's the bottom line. A country can't survive if it doesn't know who's coming in. Border security isn't political, it's basic common sense. Protect Americans first, vet everyone, shut the loopholes, because compassion without control is how tragedies like this happen. Strong immigration policy doesn't make you anti-immigrant, it makes you pro-safety. Strong borders create a strong America, and a strong America lifts up the entire world. If you like this content overall, hit that subscribe button over there in the corner. We'd love to stay in touch. Take care.